Hi, and welcome to the ZeroTax Zone Podcast with Andrej Kandus, your host. Tax savings and structuring is a very sensitive topic, and unfortunately one that is mostly ignored until it is too late. That's why Andrej decided to launch ZeroTax Zone Podcast. So let's jump in. What can you expect from this podcast? Well, each week, we bring you cutting-edge insights and advanced strategies designed to help maximize your deductions and save on taxes like never before. With over 40 years of combined experience from our expert tax advocates, we're here to guide you through the complex world of taxation, ensuring you maximize your savings and minimize your stress. With our expert guests and in-depth discussions, we will empower you to take control of your tax situation. Each tax situation is very unique, and I know it really all sounds so complicated, and you find yourself wondering if this is really for you, or if you can actually save anything significant, right? Well, join us as we explore the latest trends, real-life scenarios, share innovative techniques, and answer your pressing tax questions. Whether you're a business owner, investor, high-income earner, or simply looking to make the most of your finances, the ZeroTax Zone is your weekly resource for transforming tax challenges into opportunities. Get ready to take your tax game to the next level. Keep more of your hard-earned money and untax yourself with ZeroTax Zone. Welcome to this week's episode of ZeroTax Zone.
So welcome to today's podcast, guys. Today I'm going to be touching on a subject that's probably going to be a common thread in several episodes. And what that is the issue of retirement. How do you maximize your retirement dollars that you've saved in your deferred accounts? Most people probably, that would be better that more people than they are, but a lot of people are fortunate enough to have saved in their 401ks or IRAs. But the issue obviously is that you have a silent partner with those accounts, which is the government. So the government takes a share of every distribution, and not only that, when you have money when you have been fortunate enough and good enough to save in your retirement accounts, what happens is when you take money out of those accounts, not only are you taxed on that distribution as regular income, but you're also being taxed on your Social Security, which otherwise you would not be taxed on. And in addition, you may experience quite an increase in cost of Medicare because you're considered a wealthy person. So a lot of people actually think about the option of converting their deferred dollars into a Roth account. A Roth account is an account that the government allows us to also use, which basically it's a type of an account that once you have money there, there's no tax on growth and no tax on distribution. So that would be an ideal account to have in order to not worry about taxes going forward. But there's a caveat. And the caveat is that there's a huge tax. If you want to convert, let's say, $1 million of your 401k money into a Roth, you'd be hit with taxes on $1 million of income. So you may be losing half of that money that you had to convert into a Roth. So in kind of when you do the general comparison, it kind of defeats the purpose of doing it because there's so much less money available to then fund the retirement that it's really a wash situation. And with traditional ways of that conversion where you have to pay the full tax, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. Or it makes sense when you're doing small changes, small conversions, but not really. It usually doesn't make sense when you do a really large conversion. If you've got $2 million in a 401k and you want to convert the whole thing into a Roth, and even if you do it gradually with that kind of money, you're going to be hit with too much taxes. Now, the second problem is the traditional way of distribution of retirement money is you are hit with what is called RMDs, required minimum distributions. So that especially applies, and especially a problem with people that do have larger savings in their retirement accounts, and those savings they're sitting there, and the government says, well, at a certain age, right now I believe it's at about 71 years of age, you are supposed to take a certain percentage, which keeps increasing year after year, of the amount of money that you have in your retirement account, which means that whether you like it or not, you're going to be taxed on that amount. So most people that have large amounts in their retirement accounts, they're forced to take too much money. They don't need that much money, but because of these RMD issues, they're forced to take that much money and forced to pay tax on it. And the penalty of not doing so, I believe it's a pretty large penalty of not doing so. It's actually better to take the money out even if you don't need it. But it kind of, it's just it's a bummer, right? So anyway, so the idea is, well, how is it possible? Is there any other way to do this, to legally and ethically, first of all, reduce the taxes on that conversion, and then reduce the taxes on a conversion into a kind of a Roth IRA structure, so that first of all, you keep more after that conversion, and after that conversion is done, the money that is sitting in a new type of an account is never going to be taxed again, either on growth or distribution. Plus, obviously, because you've taken out all the money out of your 401k, there's going to be no RMDs. There's not going to be no provisional income. That is because the only income that's going to show as taxable is going to be your Social Security income, and there's going to be no increase of Medicare. So it's a grand idea, and fortunately, there are ways to do that legally and ethically. It is just something that is usually kept kind of a best kept secret of really sophisticated tax law firms, and just highly special. It's a highly specialized project and strategy. But as my objective is to democratize these sometimes very sophisticated and behind the door strategies to a regular successful business owner or professional, I intend to talk about these strategies, and specifically this particular strategy today. Now, I cannot go into too much details, as this is pretty much for educational purposes only, but if this sparks your attention, then obviously we can talk more in a more professional setting. But the idea is, as I said, how do we get money out of the deferred account at a much reduced tax rate, or much reduced taxable basis? And so the solution that I'd like to talk about is what we call a ZeroTax Roth. And this ZeroTax Roth is achieving just that. We need a 5-year term. We need 5 years to do this conversion in a tax efficient manner. But if we do have that amount of time, which doesn't mean that you have to do that at a certain age. You can do this when you're 50, you can do that when you're 40, you can do that when you're 65, you can do it when you're 70. It just means that money is going to be funneling through this funnel, and is going to be gradually converting into a Roth type structure. Now, what is interesting is, by utilizing really sophisticated financial vehicles, financial tools, we can achieve a conversion and achieve a tax relief on that conversion at about 40 to 50%. So instead of being taxed on, let's say if you've got $2 million in your 401k, if you do that conversion, instead of being taxed on $2 million conversion, you're only taxed on $1 million, even though you're actually doing a $2 million conversion. Now it sounds, must sound really magical and too good to be true, but there's a really sound financial strategy behind it. And so, and it's it's IRS approved, it's compliant. It's just something that has to be handled very, very, and basically by a professional. You can't really do it by yourself. And because of that, there's other really interesting benefits. The other benefits that I could maybe address or really point out is the accounts that we use to funnel the money through are actually protected from not losing. So the assets are the principal is guaranteed to never lose value. So it's a huge deal in terms of the peace of mind of how the what happens with the assets. The second thing is it is because of its nature, it's not causing any effects on the taxability of Social Security income later. And again, because of its nature being in a similar group of a tax status as a Roth, all the growth and all the distribution is tax-free. So that's why we call it a zero-tax Roth. So what typically happens is just by careful tax planning and utilizing this strategy without taking any additional risks, just because there's so much more money available, because so much less has been lost to taxes, then what happens is the retirement income that is generated out of these accounts is now double or triple to what it would have been without the strategy, doing it the regular way. Because the regular way, you're hit with so many taxes on so many different sides that it's just impossible to do better. I mean, you can take bigger risks, which means really high volatility in the markets. Most people hate that feeling of not knowing of how their account's going to be moving up and down, and at some point, talking to clients, most clients are paranoid about running out of money, right? So that's a big deal. Not losing money in your retirement accounts as a guarantee is really important. And so it just provides a huge peace of mind. And it's all about careful tax planning. So we keep more that has been saved, because just deferring taxes in a retirement account and then actually paying higher taxes, getting the money out, does not achieve its purpose. So the solution has to be, we need to possibly convert our hard-earned retirement dollars into a Roth type structure at a possibly reduced taxable basis, and then have that account as status such as that will never, as it generates income, it's never going to be taxed again. So first reduce the taxes and then pay no taxes going forward. And as I said, in typical scenarios, we can achieve double or triple, even more, a higher multiple of relative income that would have been achieved with just doing the distribution the regular way. So we'll talk about this strategy in much more detail in later episodes, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse and let's say, a light at the end of the tunnel for people that are kind of starting to think about this problem. And so that you know that there are solutions. There are good solutions that are well tested. They're well, there's decades of experience with these solutions, but they're just not commonly available to the regular person. Typically, you'll see that done by very expensive tax attorney for people that are very high net worth with accounts tens of millions of dollars, but not so much for people that have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in their accounts. So my intention is to help just those people the most. And this strategy really starts making sense when you have at least $1 million in your retirement account, just because of the ratios of taxes that really make a huge difference. So anyway, this really, I just wanted to really give you a glimpse of this big issue and give you a little bit of a hope, at least on a very high level, that there are very good solutions for this. And we will be touching on this subject very much in the future in very much more detail, and I'll be providing different scenarios, different models to show you how how this can be played in different ways. If you have an immediate interest and you feel that you need immediate consultation, I do in a very limited way. I only have a limited amount of time for this purpose, but I can provide in a very limited way, no cost, no obligation consultation. And you can contact us or contact me at the number that's scrolling down the screen, or via email that's also provided. And we will be talking soon. Thank you. I hope this episode is providing some value to everybody, and we'll talk next time. Okay, guys, before you go, I'd like to provide you like a really high-level example of a client that we've helped. For privacy purposes, let's call him John. John has about $2 million in his 401k, which is a good number. But if he did not do anything about it, if he just generally started distributing that, we could probably be left with $1 million to spend in retirement after taxes, which is basically only enough for really 10 years of $100,000. And it didn't really help his feeling of never running out of money. So what we did, we applied the strategies of ZeroTax Roth. And what he's going to end up with is he's going to end up with a tax savings of more than $1 million. He's going to save more than $1 million in taxes. And because of those tax savings, and because of the fact that there's going to be no RMDs, there's going to be no provisional income, there's going to be meaning there's no taxation of Social Security income in addition to his distribution. And there's going to be no Medicare cost increases. John is going to be able to, with the same, everything being the same, is going to be able to harvest an income that is at least twice as much as he would have had if he just did things the regular way. So, we're talking about life-changing differences. It is a difference between having to move to a cheaper state, away from your kids and other loved ones, just because you don't have enough money to survive in your current state, to just keep enjoying your lifestyle because you have enough money, and you have enough money not because you've saved more, not because you suddenly have to work in retirement, just because you're paying less taxes. And you're paying less taxes legally and ethically. It is just careful tax planning and careful execution, having a couple of years to do so. And hope this example gives you some motivation. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We will have a weekly podcast covering everything tax related that will help you not only grow, but exceed your tax savings. Looking forward to seeing you soon.